So last week we showed you hardtop prep, but this week we are still waiting on supplies. The welder is still waiting on the stainless steel to arrive so that he can tack together all the measurements. So this week we've decided to jump onto another project to stay busy, and we're going to paint some topside paint. Hi, we are Erica and Davy, an adventurous, slightly crazy couple who has taken on the challenge that is a hurricane-damaged catamaran. We have come so far. Subscribe to our channel to follow our journey. Take a chance. You never know how perfect something may turn out to be. Okay, so we've got an early start this morning before it gets super hot. Today's supposed to be one of the hottest days, and Davy has set to work on sanding the sides of the boat in preparation for new topside paint. So when we were in loop run, we had to finish the boat relatively quickly. So there's still the sides of the boat are safe, but they're just not faired properly. So we're gonna finish the fairing and put new topside paint on yet again. So Davy's set to work to that.
So this is actually easier to do, babe, in the sun because I can actually see where I've sanded and where I haven't without going too heavy on it, but I've knocked all the sheen off, knocked off the, what do you call, orange peel from the time when it was sprayed. And now it's just leaving a nice sanded, dull surface. So the sun is a hindrance because it's damn hot, but it's really making it quite quicker, I think.
So only 30 feet to go.
On this side, it's a bit more than 30.
Okay, so from this angle you can see Davy's making some good progress coming down the side of the boat. Not quite halfway mark on this side yet. But what he's also doing is he's going to, don't know if you can see it, but there's a pencil mark. So these are some of the areas that need to be faired before we can put the topside paint on. I know it doesn't really look that bad, but with the right sun angle, it looks like it dips in, and it just doesn't look very nice. So that's one thing that we want to fix before we put the new topside paint on. I think there's another one up here at the front.
Yeah, get it in about this angle, you can see it.
How's it going?
Good. It's damn hot today, that's for sure. Glad there's a little bit of breeze that's picked up, which is really nice. Could you do me a favor, put the camera down, help me move this scaffolding across one more section? There, okay. That's perfect. Perfecto. Thanks, babe.
So Davy's come up with a different method for doing this side of the boat.
Yeah, it gave me a bit of an achy back yesterday. Sitting on the scaffolding at this height and reaching down, it was not good for my back. So I had a little bit of pain last night, but it's all good this morning. A little ibuprofen and a good nap. And but I've decided to walk along the bottom as far as I can reach.
Which isn't very far.
I know someone's gonna say. Anyway, I'm getting about this height. I'm actually standing in a hole at the moment as well. So it's
and you're not on your tippy toes or anything?
No, I'm not on my tippy toes. So anyway, doing this, and then what I'll do is I'll set the scaffolding up, and then I'll be able to work, but without getting that annoying pain in my back. So that's today's plan. I want to get this side finished. The other side got finished yesterday. This side finished today, and a couple of little niggly bits. Then we can wash the boat down and wait for the primer, which I think is coming in the next few days.
So we have been deciding where we are going to paint our topside.
Decided now.
Our topside paint too. So you can see those tape lines behind me. So this outer part is going to be a gray color, and we've decided to go to that line just there. So we're still in the prep stages.
Yeah, a little bit more sanding left to do. I've sanded all the way around the boat now, ready for primer. Apart from this one last section, I did most of it in a really weird sun angle, and it was hard to see where I got it and where I hadn't. So I'm gonna get it now quickly before the sun goes any higher. Just finish this side, and then that means all the sanding due to primer is done.
But the main reason that we are painting the tops is because we wanted to fix these sides with the fairing, because they weren't perfect. So,
and we also decided we didn't want to go in white. So what color do you think we're doing, guys?
I already said gray.
leave it in the comments that Erica already said great.
I already said it before.
Yeah, and also we didn't want to be the same as every other boat being white. We wanted slightly different, and we've had our eye on a couple of grey boats over the last couple of years, and we really like the colour. So
okay, so I can't there. I can't really see your head and the paint.
am I in it?
Kind of.
Kind of.
So we're using a new product today, guys.
We are using Total Boats paint. This is called Wet Edge, so it's above the water line. This is this is the topside paint basically that we're going to be using. This is a roll and tip method, which neither of us have ever done before, so this should be fun. Apparently your biggest friend in this method is to actually put it on extremely thin and use thinners, but never more than 5 to 10% thinners. So we're going to measure it very accurately like that, and then mix it together.
Is that not more than?
No, that was less. That was closer to the 5 rather than the 10 bit, don't we?
I love your method.
It does thin it up nicely though.
Yeah.
But that stuff will flash off as well, so I think I'm only going to pour a little bit into the tray so I can come into that, because that keeps that out of the sun. And let's go and get the first little layer on the boat. It's exciting times, guys. Very exciting.
Where are you going to start?
That's a pain in the butt. I'm going to start here and work my way across.
So with rolling and tipping.
Yeah, we're just rolling and experimenting at the moment. Oh dear, it's great. I like it. I like it. What do you reckon, babe?
I like it too.
But this is a flat paint, so more of a matte colour. Which is something I've been dreaming about for a while. I've had to talk Erica into it. Battleship grey. It was supposed to be gun grey. To be honest, I thought it would be slightly darker. What's your thoughts, babe?
It might dry darker.
Maybe. It does seem a little bit lighter than my first instinct, what I thought that I saw on the colour chart.
What do you think, Fox? Do you like it? How's it going on?
It's actually going on nice with the roller. I'm just hoping it's not too thick. Otherwise, this is why we're doing an experimental section, which is between the two pontoons here. And I'm sure Erica can pan around and show you. But this is our little... We've done the primer, which we didn't film. Tell everyone what we've been doing, babe. I'm concentrating.
Yeah, you concentrate. I'm gonna get myself in the shade for a moment. So this morning we've done some primer on this section. It's kind of our test section. Just to see how the paint goes on. And with this paint you want to go really, really thin. Because the top gets like a film once it dries. And if it's too thick of a coat, then it can drip down and it can look absolutely terrible. So you want to do really, really nice thin coats. It's so satisfying. It's going on really nice, babe. Are you trying to get up underneath there?
Well, to a degree, I'm going to have to go back around with it. This is only the first coat. This is going to get 3 coats. So, to be honest, I'm just trying to get a nice, even little first coat.
You know, you don't want to put too much up there so it drips down, right?
Nope, I don't want to get any run.
Sorry, I'm going to point where he's actually painting. I'm kind of looking.
It's looking pretty good. It's supposed to be thin as your friend, apparently.
So after this, you'll be able to add a professional roll and tipper onto your resume.
I'm avoiding tipping, if possible. I'm going with using the right amount of thinners and putting it on thin and doing multiple coats. Because tipping means you put it on too thick, I think, is really the way, because you're stopping it from running.
Look who's painting the aluminium now.
That's not. Why is the aluminium? That's a stainless steel washer. What's your problem?
You were going to take that out.
I know, I didn't get around to it.
So it's also going to be really interesting to see how far this paint goes. When you look online, it says the wet edge topside paint goes about 350 to 400 square feet, correct?
I believe that was correct, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think we did our very rough calculations, and it was 630 for one coat. And that's including this section here between the pontoons and this section up here. So we'll see how much paint we actually use, how much we have left over, if any. You're what?
I said, I'm having fun, you don't need to take over. I'm enjoying, at the moment, because I'm going to get fed up with it. But at the moment,
not necessarily.
In the beginning, it's fun.
You forgot a section.
I'm not finished. Remember, it needs to go on thin, and I need to press hard when I go around a corner. So I'm making sure the brush, or the roller, sorry, had the correct amount of paint on it. Look at that, see? I like it.
I like it a lot.
I mean, from this angle, you can still see that it's white underneath the boat. But we've decided not to paint the underside of the boat. One, because it's very white and reflective. So if we do end up in trouble and we flip the boat over when we get a mast on it, then it's going to be easier for rescue services to actually see the vessel, because it's going to be a shiny white, whereas the grey we're putting in is actually a matte colour. So that's one of the reasons we decided. Plus it's also a hell of a lot of extra work to do under there. So it's kind of toss and turn, up and down. We've decided not to.
Well, and also the fact, you have to think about when the boat is actually in the water. You're not going to see it when you're in the water.
No one's ever at this angle. Everyone's literally always standing up like
up top.
8 feet above where we are now. So it is a different angle, but it's looking good. The sugar scoops are now white with primer. The back end now has got the first layer of top coat. This is good, babe.
Forward visual progress. Woo! Day 2 of painting. Any thoughts this morning?
Yeah, I should put some gloves on before it started.
Like these?
Here's my gloves.
You're on just normal video now. So if you have any words of wisdom.
I don't know about wisdom. This is day 2 of me using this product. Seems pretty good. We're using the Total Boat Wet Edge. I'm not sure if Eric has told you. Probably has. But it does actually go. It's nice to work with. Thin coats is the key, and definitely getting some thinners in there as well. I think you said the max on the cam 5 to 10% maximum. I'm going splash by eye.
It's looking pretty good.
So she's come out for coat 2. I'm going to explain a little bit. So I've got to get the sun out my house. So this morning on this side, there was definitely a few more roller edge marks, if you will. So push too hard, squeezes the paint out, leaves it a bit thick.
I painted this side yesterday.
Well, either way, we're both learning this. So I sanded it quite hard. I could see the marks on this side, whereas this side over here, which is actually where I started painting yesterday, I couldn't see it. The sun was at a different angle, and now I can see it, but that's a yesterday, and I haven't sanded that hard enough. But I've already started, so tomorrow I'm going to have to do a bit of a harder sand on this side to get rid of my boo-boos. But the rest of it now, getting it on and putting on more coats, it definitely seems like I'm getting the technique of how much pressure and how much paint. It's very small amounts of paint, you don't want too much.
So we're rolling and tipping?
We have minus the tipping, because we haven't started to try and tip anything, but we'll just try it without the tipping for now. I think the biggest key about the tipping thing was if you put it on too heavy, you've got to get rid of it before it dries, stop it sagging. But this stuff here, put it on nice and thin. Even if I end up doing 4 coats, I don't care, I'd rather put it on thin.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a minute and then we'll go and do one of the other areas.
Satisfied?
Always is, isn't it? Apart from the bits that don't want to come off.
Okay, so I know we haven't gone around the window yet, but with...
Oh, we had our first little runner.
Oh no.
One tiny on little, tiny there. So that obviously went up too thick, but that's probably when I was pushing up.
Yeah.
Surprised there hasn't been more, but it's very, very small, and that'll sound off anyway.
So I know we haven't gone around the window yet, but we're gonna try and find really small rollers, because trying to use the brush, it just doesn't make it look uniform and even. So we're gonna try and find itty bitty rollers to go around the window, but it looks so good. You happy with the color?
Yeah, I love the colour. I think the colour's great.
Look at you fancy bitches.
What do you reckon?
We are using Total Boat Topside Primer. This is a gray primer that we're going to use for the outside of the hulls.
Just slap a little bit of thinners. Should be that one, yeah.
So what have we learned about this product?
Don't do it in direct sunlight. Make sure you use clean paint trays. That's what I've learned so far.
So we've actually got Lonnie over here today. He's going to help with some painting. We're going to get the primer on the sides of the boat. It's going to be a game changer. It's going to look so different. How's it going?
It's going on a lot better than our practice that we didn't film. That's the bit we probably should have filmed. Because there was a lot of effing and blinding and swearing. But really, we hadn't read the instructions properly. And stupidly, we should know better than this. We shouldn't have started painting it in direct sunlight, which we did on the other side. So we had some issues with everything kicking off really, really quickly.
Like really fast.
So we had to put a stop to it. We also made a mistake by reusing a paint tray that had been used by something else.
Another primer, but a
another
white
primer. It should be exactly the same, just a different colour. But anyway, lessons learned. So we didn't get very far. Babe, don't you dare stand there and point shit out. But the most important is basically what we did, which was stop, reevaluate, work out what we were doing wrong, and then start again.
It is a great primer. Very sticky.
It's extremely sticky.
How's it going?
Well, look at this progress, guys. So yesterday we managed to get on the primer on the outside of the hulls. So on the underside we have been working a little bit, and we've even got to the fact of using some of the wet edge topside paint. We've got 3 coats on the back, or is it 2?
2 on the back.
2 on the back, 1 on the front, on the underside, and it's actually been a nice practice to get used to the product. You definitely want to work thin with it and use the thinners, and it goes on really nice if you use a 6-inch roller. And once you get the technique of it, you don't get the roller lines as well, so it's really, really good. But yesterday we received the grey primer, which we're using on the outer hulls, and as you see now, we're sanding it back. It's actually coming up really nice. To be honest,
the primer sucks to put it on.
the primer is a lot more difficult to put on. It's very temperamental. You really have to read the instructions and don't try and go outside the parameters. We did start yesterday and we had direct sun on this side of the boat, and we just had to stop. We only did about 2-3 square feet, and we were like, no, this is not working. But then we came back to it later in the day when the sun had gone down, and it went on much, much easier. Also, there's another thing about the color. So you know how difficult it is to work from a color chart. You got a 1 inch by 1 inch. So the top side paint that's underneath, I thought was the right color. But then after putting the primer on, this is actually the color that's been in my dreams of painting the boat. This flat gray, primer gray. So we've spoken to Megan at Total Boat, and she's actually gonna send us out a quart of flat black so we can do a slight mix, add a few, you know, we're gonna have to do some experiments on that to try and darken up the topside paint that we've got coming. Or we've actually got it here already, but the topside paint that we want to put on. But this primer is actually, I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be harder than this to sand, and it's flattening out really, really nice. I'm using an M3 paper fine, which is the equivalent to 320 grit. and it's coming up lovely. So bear with us. We've got Lorne at the other end. We're going to meet in the middle, and then we're going to go to the other side when the sun comes over the top. Now do ya?
So this is my my screw up bit.
It's coming up alright, though. Wax on, wax off. Doesn't that like a Karate Kid, eh? Hiya!
Oh!
Really doesn't take much effort, guys. This is one of Erica's little oopsie places.
Yeah,
let's see how well that comes up just with a bit of 320. Wasn't just Erica's oopsie, we just badly planned our day yesterday. That's gone. See, the mark's gone.
Yep.
That's good.
Nice. Okay, so now we have finally got you caught up to where we are on the topside paint. So like we showed you, we got the inside of the hulls here done. We've got the primer on the outside of the hulls. We still need to do some fairing, but we can see the damages with that primer on. So Barefoot's getting closer and closer every day. So once we do a little bit more fairing, we can finish off that paint.